What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I'd love to talk about all things Peloton cycling and fitness. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday, and today is going to be a fun video. It's a continuation from last week's video. I started Ben's Stronger You program, did the first 2 weeks in last week's video, and we'll be wrapping it up in weeks 3 and 4 in this week's video. And we'll see if I actually got stronger in 4 weeks. I definitely think I did, but we're just gonna hop right on into week 3, day 1. So let's go. It is now Tuesday afternoon. I took an extra rest day this weekend because I went on a hike on Saturday, and on Monday I was still sore from it, which I was pretty surprised. But I don't know if it was just like the uphill, but my calves were still pretty sore. So I was like, you know what, we'll take an extra day. Come back Tuesday, rested and energized for week 3. So I started week 3 today, and when you click to continue on to week 3, the description that pops up is with a fresh week comes a fresh challenge. It's time to up the ante. Be prepared to pick up heavier weights and increase the repetitions in your workouts as you crank up the time under tension. As always, make time to stretch to maximize your progress. And I didn't realize this when I started the program, but in this week, we actually go up to 30 minutes of every day of strength, when before we were doing like 20 minutes, but we keep the stretching the same amount. So like each class this week is like 35 to 40 minutes. So today's first class was a 30-minute upper body strength class, and the description is week 3 is here, which means it's time to up the ante. Get ready to give it your all as Ben coaches you through every rep of this 30-minute upper body workout. I didn't think it was actually that much harder than the 20-minute classes. It was just longer, and he did bring back rests in between each move. Like, it's kind of weird how sometimes it's like a true superset, and then sometimes he gives 15 seconds rest in between each move. But I'm not complaining when he does his 15 seconds of rest. But I do have a little bit of a beef because when we started the class, there was a 3-minute warm-up, and in that 3-minute warm-up, you lift your medium weights, which is not the end of the world. At least it wasn't the heavy weights, but I do like a good body weight warm-up. I go cold into these classes, so I like some time to warm up. But it wasn't the worst thing. We did like slow bicep curls and I think like shoulder presses, so it wasn't like super hard, but not a super big fan of that in warm-up. Then we just broke it into different sets, focusing on different body parts. And he said to grab medium and heavy weights. I grabbed 10 and 15. And I have quickly realized that now I'm like in this very weird in between of 10 and 15, where 10 is too easy and 15 is too hard a lot of the time. But I'm really trying to like push up to 15 when I can. Because originally he was calling out like medium weights for a lot, which would have been 10, but I was like, this is too easy for a lot of the moves, so I went up to 15. So there were 4 different sets. Each set was repeated twice, and it was 45 seconds on, 15 seconds recovery, and he said to aim for 10 to 12 reps. We started out with wide grip chest presses, chest flies, and then push-ups. And he said to use your heavy weights for them. 15-pound chest flies for me is very hard for me. That was definitely a push, but the chest press was okay. Push-ups, I mostly tried to stay off my knees, but I did have to go on my knees at some point. But we made it through. Then the next section was back, which he said to use your medium weights, but I pushed up to heavy weights. For some of the moves, we did bent over rows, reverse flies, and wide grip bent over rows. And I pushed up to heavy for the 2 rows. But again, for reverse flies, those are so hard for me. Like, flies are just the hardest arm exercise, I think, for me. So I don't know. I guess I just need to keep practicing to get up to a higher weight. But I went down to 10 pounds for those because I was like, it's not going to be pretty if I use 15 pounds. Then we did shoulders. We did a wide grip overhead press, lateral raise, and then regular overhead press. I went up to 15 pounds for the 2 overhead presses, but went down to 10 pounds for the lateral raises. Because again, 15 pounds would be like way too much, but I was pretty happy that at least I was pushing 15 pounds for the presses. And then we finished off with bicep curls, tricep kickbacks, hammer curls, where I went up to 15 pounds for the curls, but stayed at 10 pounds for the tricep kickbacks. I don't know, we do tricep kickbacks all the time, and they're always so hard for me. I guess my tricep is probably like my weakest muscle, but going up to 15 pounds like would not be possible for me. It would be so hard. So overall, I would give this class like a 6 out of 10 for difficulty. I didn't think it was that difficult, but then again, I like didn't push myself on all of the weights. I only pushed myself sometimes, but I also did like that you got a lot of recovery, at least the 15 seconds in between each move. I thought was very nice. And then enjoyability, I'd give it like a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was kind of boring because I feel like we do kind of the same thing every single time. And it's definitely going to take some time to get used to doing 30 minutes compared to 20 minutes because like I'm used to the 20-minute classes, but it wasn't unenjoyable. Like we did the workout, we got it in, it felt good at the end. No like real complaints. I just didn't think it was like, wow, amazing. And then after the 30-minute upper body strength class, we had a 5-minute upper body stretch. And I really don't have a lot to say about the stretch. It's the same as all the other stretches. No real complaints. They're always good. It felt good to stretch out at the end and then be ready to go about the rest of my workout. So yeah, pretty good day today. I do like the upper body days. So we'll see how tomorrow goes because it's another full body day. It is now the next day. It's Wednesday afternoon, and this morning I went after week 3, day 2 of this program. And first off, I was sore from yesterday. I think because it was the first day that I really started to push weight on arms. It wasn't too bad, mostly my shoulders, and like even now it's fine, but I wasn't really expecting it. So I guess it does show that, you know, when you push weights, you're going to get more sore, which does make sense. But today's class was a 30-minute full body strength class. The description is, what better way to increase the intensity than with a 30-minute full body workout? Join Ben on the mat as he continues to teach you the fundamentals of strength training. And I would say that this was a fairly basic full body workout, kind of like we always get. We did get some new upper body moves though, which I appreciated. And this class was structured the same as all of his other full body classes where there's an upper circuit, lower circuit, and then core circuit. But then we did have a little extra time for a 4-minute EMOM at the end. Gotta fill up the 30 minutes somehow. So we had a 3-minute bodyweight warm up, no complaints there. And then we got into the upper body set. All the sets were structured the same where you repeated each one twice. The first time you did 45 seconds. He said to aim for 10 to 12 reps. And then the second set you did 30 seconds and he said to aim for 8 to 10 reps. Ben also said to grab medium and heavy weights. I grabbed 10 and 20. The 20 was kind of a push for me on the lower body, but it felt good. And that's the whole point. Like I am trying to push myself in this. So, you know, we really got after today. So the arm set was an overhead press, a bicep curl, bent over rows, overhead extensions, new move, and a standing chest fly, which was also a new move. I don't know if I've ever done a standing chest fly before. That was definitely interesting. And I did everything with 10 pounds because we're back to the superset, no break in between. And some of the moves, like 10 pounds for bicep curls is pretty easy for me. But honestly, because you're getting no break and you did so many in a row, and like some of the moves, like the overhead extensions and the standing chest flies, like 10 pounds was the right amount. So I feel like 10 pounds was a good choice for me there. Then the lower body picked up the 20 pounds. We did RDLs, dumbbell squats, reverse lunges, lateral lunges, and then a goblet squat. And all of those are pretty basic moves. Lateral lunges are my hardest. That was definitely like the biggest push with the 20 pounds, but everything else felt pretty good. Then for the core set, we're not focused on number of reps. It's all time-based and everything's 30 seconds. So we did Russian twist, scissor kick, plank pike reach, forearm plank, mountain climber, 30-second rest, and then repeat that. And for the Russian twist, we didn't use any weights, like none of the core moves we used weights. So that is always a nice reprieve from the last 2 sets. And then finally for our 4-minute EMOM, we did squat to overhead press. I used my 10-pound weights. I think 20 pounds would have been like way too hard. 10 of those. And then the next minute we did 10 burpees and we repeated that twice. At first, when he told us, I thought we were doing the 10 squat overhead presses and 10 burpees in 1 minute. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be really hard. But with it spaced over 2 minutes, it was definitely a lot more achievable. And I got like a good amount of rest, at least on these squat to overhead presses. So I did not mind it as an EMOM. And then the class was over. For difficulty, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. I didn't think it was super difficult. And then for enjoyability, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. I like the new moves. Obviously, I like like the recovery more than just supersets, but I just go a little lighter on the weights when it is a superset. And I thought that this was like good, entertaining, moved relatively quickly. And I thought the EMOM at the end was a little nice. Rather than making everything longer, he just added a new section, which I kind of liked. 30 minutes passed by like fairly quickly, which sometimes it does not. So I was happy with that. And then we had a 10-minute full body stretch to end it off, where no complaints there. I feel like this one was pretty leg heavy today, but we did do like arms then at the end and a little bit of core stretching. And Ben is making new stretches for each one of these days. Like, it's a new stretch. He's wearing the same thing that he wore in the class, which is a new class every day. But I swear he talks about the same things over and over again. And they're so similar that I'm like, I'm getting deja vu. I feel like I've already taken this stretch. Like, every single stretch, he talks about how he didn't stretch in track and then he started stretching and his like track times improved a lot, which is not a surprise and is not a bad story, but I don't need to hear it every time we do a stretch. It's so weird. Like, why did you film new stretches to talk about the same thing over and over again? I don't know. I find that a little bit odd, but besides that, the stretch was good and that wrapped up the day. So I'm definitely ready for my recovery day tomorrow. I feel like I might be a little sore in my arms and legs. So I'll definitely take my rest day and I'll see you on Friday for day 3 of week 3. It is now 2 days later. It's Friday afternoon, and I went into week 3, day 3 today, or day 4 if you like count the rest day as a day. And today was lower body and core day, and it's longer. So we started out and we did a 20-minute lower body strength class, and the description is, by now you're familiar with the format of this class, but your challenge today is to tackle more reps and increase time under tension. Key ingredients for strength training. And it's actually kind of interesting that they're like, oh, you're used to the format of this class, because he kind of changed it today. Not drastically, but we were kind of doing these supersets the whole time. And he added some AMRAP EMOM vibes, kind of a combination of the two. So we started out 2-minute body weight warm up. Absolutely no complaints there. He said to grab medium heavy weights. He was using 15, 25. I grabbed 15 and 20. And we used medium weights for the first set. That was a superset, 30 seconds each, 8 to 10 reps was the aim. We did reverse lunges, lateral lunges, and then squat jumps, but I did not do squat jumps. I just went up on my tippy toes, which Ben actually offered as a modification today, but I would have done it anyways. I just don't like squat jumps with the weights. Like, it's way too hard on my joints. And we did that 2 times with a 30-second rest in between the first set and the second set, but otherwise, like, no recovery. Then we went into these like AMRAP EMOM things where essentially it was 45 seconds off, as many reps as possible, but aim like 10 to 12 with 15 seconds recovery. And we did goblet squats with our heaviest weight, just 1. So we did that 3 times. And then we did RDLs with our heaviest weights 3 times as well, which is just kind of different than what he was doing, but I didn't dislike. I'm not a huge fan of goblet squats, but like, there's nothing wrong with them. I'm just not a huge squat girl in general, but I love RDL. So I specifically like the RDL portion. And then we went back to the superset format where we did split squat on one side, split squat on the other side, and then a dumbbell squat. We did use our medium weights, which I thought was pretty hard anyways, because split squats are a killer for me. For the first set, we did 40 seconds on each side of the split squat, but then for the next 2, we did 30 seconds on each side, 30 seconds for the dumbbell squats with a 30-second recovery in between the sets, but again, like no rest after each move. Today's class enjoyability, I'd give it like maybe a 5 to 6 out of 10. I'm not in love with some of the moves. Like, I don't really like split squats. I'm just like okay with normal squats, which that is definitely a me thing. And then I hate jump squats. So just in general, like not my absolute favorite moves. Difficulty, I would give it like a 6 to 7 out of 10, especially because we're using the medium weights a lot, which are 15 pounds for me. It wasn't like super, super hard. But overall, it was like not a horrible class. It just wasn't like one of the ones that I'm like, wow, this was amazing. Then we went into a 10-minute core strength class, and the description is time to target those core muscles again. Join Ben on the mat as he motivates and coaches you through a 10-minute core class to further strengthen your abdominal and lower back muscles. And honestly, Ben before has mentioned that like core is his least favorite, and I feel like it does shine through with his core classes. Like I just don't think they're that good. We had a 1-minute bodyweight warm up, and the rest of the class was like weight free, and you're just focusing on getting as many reps as possible. And we just did like a bunch of different moves. We did tuck ups, Russian twists, hollow body, flutter kick, high plank, mountain climber. And we repeated that 3 times, 30 seconds in each move and like a 15-second rest in between each set. So like definitely not a lot of rest, which means that at some points, like I just have to take my own rest, which is not my favorite. I feel like a lot of core instructors do this, and it really like demotivates me. And yeah, I just like wasn't really feeling this class either. But for me, I like don't typically like any core classes, so take that with a grain of salt. For enjoyability, I give it like a 6 out of 10. Like it wasn't the worst, but it definitely wasn't the best. And for difficulty, if you were taking absolutely no breaks, I'd give it like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. But you know, I threw some breaks in there, so it was probably like a 6.5 to 6 out of 10 for me. And then to wrap it up, we did a 5-minute lower body stretch. Felt nice after our lower body section. Honestly, I would have loved like a little more core in this lower body stretch as well, just to like stretch out the core, since we did have a 10-minute core class today. But really no complaints. He is very similar to all of his other stretches, but his stretches are always good. And that was it for today. So a good way to kick off a Friday, and I'm excited to finish up week 3 tomorrow. It is now Saturday, and I did the last day of week 3 this morning in Ben's program, which started off with a 30-minute full body strength class. And the description is, our final day of week 3 has arrived. Let's give it our all. By now, you're on your way to building foundational strength as well as learning all the fundamentals of strength training. Finish the week strong with a fiery full body workout. And I agree, it was a fiery full body workout. And we started off a 3-minute warm up, mostly body weight, but we did grab our medium weights, which I grabbed 10 pounds to do like some slow bicep curls and slow shoulder presses. Not my favorite in the warm up, but you know, not too bad. And Ben said to grab medium heavy weights. I grabbed 10 and 20. I think 10 might have been a little too light at some times, but it never felt like super, super easy. It was definitely still a good workout, and I just feel like 15 would be too hard. So we started with our upper body circuit. We did a wide grip chest press with our heavies, which was definitely a push, an overhead press with our mediums, and then a bicep curl with our mediums. And we did 45 seconds on, 10 seconds off. I do love a little bit of recovery. And yeah, probably could have pushed myself maybe a little harder on the bicep curls, but the shoulder presses I thought were hard enough, especially coming off the wide grip press that were 20 pounds. Like that was definitely a push for me. And we were aiming for 10 to 12 reps, which I could pretty much always hit. We repeated that 3 times, and on the 3rd time, we went down to 30 seconds and did 8 to 10 reps. And then we went to the lower body section, which was a deadlift, which no complaints there, love deadlifts, split squats, and then squat jumps, all with our heavy weights. I hate squat jumps. I feel like I've said this so many times now, so I didn't do the squat jump. I just like went up on my tippy toes and thought it was still an effective workout. I mean, 20 pounds for squats is like pretty heavy for me, so it felt good. Again, 45 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and 10 to 12 reps for the first 2 times. And then the 3rd time we went down to 30 seconds. And honestly, I think I'm getting better at split squats because I always used to struggle with them, but they felt like pretty good today. So seeing some improvement from this program, I'm pretty sure, which always feels good. And then I was ready to go into our core section, but Ben threw a curveball at us, and we did basically like a full body section instead. I think that Ben like really doesn't like core, but we did a crossbody curl with our mediums. I probably could have gone up to 15 for this, but I was okay at 10 at this point. I was pretty tired. Then a dumbbell thruster where you have the weights racked and you do a squat and then you go into a shoulder press. I did it with my mediums. It would be way too hard to do it heavier than that. Yeah, the mediums felt good, especially because those you're supposed to kind of like go quickly. And then we finished with assisted V tuck ups. And I'm also also doing Rebecca Kennedy's core program right now. So this feels so easy compared to like what we've been doing in that program. So I was really whipping those out because like assisted V-ups I think are like fairly easy because in the other program we do non-assisted V-ups like quite frequently. It was a nice way to wrap up the set, and we did that 45 seconds on, 10 seconds off for the first 2 times, and 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off for the last time. That is very consistent, which I like and dislike. Like sometimes it gets a little boring, but it's always nice to know like what to expect and know that I'm going to get good recovery. For enjoyability, I'd give this class like a 6 to 7 out of 10. I don't think it was like the most amazing class ever. I just think like full body is not my favorite, but it wasn't unenjoyable. It went by pretty quickly and we got the work in. My only complaint is the squat jumps really. And then for difficulty, I'd also give it maybe like a 6 out of 10. If I pushed weights more, it'd probably be harder, but you do get like a decent amount of recovery in my opinion. And I felt like a lot of the moves were like fairly easy. So good way to wrap up the week. And then we had a 10-minute full body stretch class to finish off this week's program. And he actually did some new moves in this one, which I was surprised, like nothing crazy, but I was surprised that there were like any new moves, and he like structured it a little bit differently. Usually we do kind of like downward dog at the end, but we did that at the beginning. And then we did some side stretches while we were also stretching our legs and like rolled our neck out, which, you know, it's just interesting. Like I like the moves, no complaints. It's just we've been doing like such similar stretches for the last 3 weeks that I'm surprised today he's like, you know what, we're going to mix it up a little bit. But no complaints, still a great stretch. And we still did like a lot of the stretches we normally do. So we got the job done, and that wraps up week 3. I'm definitely ready for my recovery day tomorrow. It is now Monday and we are officially in week 4. And when you start the new week on the program, the description is your 4th and final week is here. You've put in the work, now let's measure your progress. It's benchmark test time. Ben will guide you to push for your best. You haven't come this far to only come this far, which I like that saying. Ben says it a lot. And the benchmark is not until the end of the week, so we still have a full week of workouts beforehand. So this morning I started off with class 1, which is a 30-minute upper body strength class. The description is the final week has arrived. Keep your eyes on the prize as Ben coaches you through this 30-minute upper body class. Don't let up now. The finish line is in sight. And Ben said to grab medium and heavy weights, which would typically be 10 and 20 for me. But I also grabbed 15, and I really actually tried to push aggressively, like whenever I thought that I could go up to 15 pounds, which was mostly for like curls, I tried to go up to 15, even if he said to use medium weights, because I feel like the upper body strength classes have been becoming like too easy for me with 10 pounds. So we started off and we did 3 sets, and all the sets were the same. We did 3 different movements, 45 seconds for the first and second time, and then 30 seconds for the last time, and trying to get 10 to 12 reps in the 45 seconds and then 8 to 10 for the 30 seconds. We also had a 10-second break between all of the moves, so that was nice, some transition time. The first set was a wide grip chest press with your heavy weights, so 20 pounds for me, tricep push-ups, which man oh man, those were very hard, and then a bicep curl, which I did try to push up for 15 pounds and like could do it successfully. It was just slower. Definitely felt the burn from pushing up, but it felt good. Then the second set was a standing chest fly, then a crossbody curl, and a tricep kickback. For the chest fly and tricep kickbacks, I used 10 pounds still. I think 15 would be too hard for me, but I did go up to the 15 pounds on the crossbody curls after the first time because I felt like the 10 pounds was too easy. And then we finished off with push-ups, so definitely a push-up heavy class, hammer curl, and overhead extension. And the hammer curls, I went up to 15 pounds, which was a push. And the overhead extensions, you were just supposed to use 1 heavyweight, so I used 1 20-pound. And that was also a push, but it felt pretty good. I will say I like it more when these sets are like focused on one specific area compared to these sets where you're kind of all over the place each time. But I don't think it was like an unenjoyable class. We got the work done. I like that at least there was like some newer moves, like the standing chest flies. I think we've only done like once before. And I will say because they were grouped differently and like not just like a shoulder set, it did feel less repetitive than like previous weeks where I have complained that it feels like we do the same exact thing, the same exact sets every time. So this is kind of like mixing it up and I still complain a little bit. So I guess Ben can just never win. But for enjoyability, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. I don't think it was the most enjoyable thing ever, but you know, it was good. We finished the class 30 minutes. It was effective. For difficulty, I would also give it like a 7 out of 10. The little recovery times I think makes a really big difference for me. And yeah, I just didn't think it was like super, super difficult even by pushing up the 15 pounds, but like really no complaints. I still thought it was a very effective workout and it was a good way to kick off a Monday, kick off week 4. I like doing upper body first actually because I feel like it's the easiest. So it's like the nicest to get into after you've had a rest day. And then the only other class that was left today was a 5-minute upper body stretch class. Very basic, not a lot to say. We stretched out the upper body. Everything was good. And now I am ready to come back tomorrow for full body day. It is now Tuesday and I took day 2 this morning of week 4 and the first class was a 30-minute full body strength class. The description is today we have our final full body class of the program. So give every rep your all. Strive for your best as Ben reminds you to keep your focus on why you began. The journey isn't over yet. Let's go. And it's the final class because instead of a second full body class this week, there's the benchmark test, which kind of is still full body, but I know it is the final true full body set, which I'm happy about. Full body is probably my least favorite, so it feels good to be done with it. And today I did all of the upper body movements with 15 pounds weights, which was definitely a push, but I'm glad that I pushed myself. We had a 3-minute warm-up body weight, no complaints there. And then we got into the lower body circuit. Ben's mixing it up a little bit. All the other classes we started with upper body. I don't actually know which one I like more. I think there's pluses and minuses. Lower body like really elevates your heart rate. So it's interesting to have it first, but we kind of did a mega set today and it was a superset. So no recovery in between moves. And I was using 20 pounds heavy weights the whole time. We did deadlifts, split squats, regular squats, lateral lunges, and then a squat jump, which I just went up on my toes, not crazy about the squat jumps. And we did 45 seconds for all of them, 10 to 12 reps. And then we repeated again and did 30 seconds for all of them, 8 to 10 reps. Then for the upper body, we did neutral grip chest presses, overhead presses, hammer curls, wide grip bent over rows, and then an overhead extension with just one weight. He said to use medium weights for all of this. And I was like, the only move that I really want to go down to 10 pounds is the shoulder press. But I was like, you know what? If we can do everything else at 15, like I just need to push myself to do the shoulder press. And I definitely did less reps than I was supposed to, but you have to like go for it at some point. So I was happy that I went for it today. It was definitely a push, but I do feel myself getting stronger. And I did like 6 to 7 reps, I think, which I was happy with. At least I'm like getting to the higher weight now. And we did that 45 seconds the first time and then 30 seconds the second time, just like the lower body set. Then we had a little bit of a core set, which all of his core is like exactly the same. Basically, we did 30 seconds of each move, hollow body hold, Russian twist, scissor kick, forearm side plank on both sides. Then we got a 20-second rest and repeated it again. He says to like never count your reps during this or like not to aim for any reps, just do as many as possible. And then we had a little sneaky EMOM at the end, which was a little weird, but like no real complaints. We did snatches for 2 of the minutes where you have the weight and then you're like throwing it up and then coming back over. It's almost like a deadlift. I feel like you're not doing exactly deadlift because you are throwing the weight over your head, but I feel like it uses the same muscles. And he said to aim for 12 to 14 of those in a minute and like ideally have at least 15 seconds rest. I did 14 and he said he used medium weight, so I was using 15 pounds. And then on the alternate minutes, we did dumbbell thrusters, which is where you go into the squat and then throw it up over your head as a shoulder press. And 15 pounds on those were definitely a push for me. I did 10 pounds the last time we did those, but I did it. I survived and I did the 14 reps, which is what the max was. So I was feeling pretty proud of myself. So good, nice way to end. I actually really like EMOMs. Ben's whole classes are kind of all EMOMs because you just aim for the certain number of reps and then you get recovery. But no complaints about throwing a little full body EMOM at the end. And then we had a 10-minute full body stretch. And that was it for the class. And the stretch was good, very basic, the same as all of his other stretches, but it was effective. And that is it for today. For difficulty for the full body class, I would give it like a 7 out of 10 difficulty. I don't feel like it was like that hard. And I feel like now that we've repeated the move so much, I'm definitely getting better and like feel like it's less hard. And enjoyability, like a 9 out of 10. I had a good time today. I kind of like the mix up, even though we didn't have a lot of recovery, it was still nice. Instead of doing like sets of 3 that we did sets of 5 moves, mixes it up a little bit, keeps it interesting in a 4-week program where we're doing a lot of the same stuff over and over again. So yeah, today was a good day and I have my last recovery day tomorrow of the program. So I'll be ready to get at it on Thursday. It is now 2 days later. It's Thursday afternoon and I was feeling rested and refreshed this morning because of my break day yesterday. So I was ready to tackle the last strength class because tomorrow is going to be the benchmark test. So this was like the last workout that we're doing together. And Ben brought it as normal. We started out with a 20-minute lower body strength class because it was leg day. And the description is, welcome to your final lower body workout in the program. Let Ben motivate and guide you through each and every movement. And as always, push for your best. Remember to stretch post-workout to maximize your progress. And this was a fairly typical leg day, except he did kind of mix it up. So essentially we got into it 1 minute warm up, very short warm up. And while we were doing the 1 minute body weight warm up, Ben is like, I'm going to show you what we're doing next because we have no time. And I was like, what is the rush here? But it's because he formatted it a little bit differently. Basically, we had 2 9-minute EMOMs and we had 3 different moves to do during the EMOM. So we did each move in a minute and then had it repeated 3 times. And for the first move, we aimed for 12 to 14 reps, the second move, 10 to 12 reps, and the third move, 8 to 10 reps. So that was nice because for me, at least, I would get more recovery on the 3rd minute as we went through the moves. The first EMOM set we did were reverse lunges, dumbbell deadlifts, and then dumbbell squats. And we repeated that 3 times. I thought this was fairly easy, not super, super easy. It was still a push, but never did I not have recovery. I at least had 15 seconds of recovery. And for the squats, I almost had 30 seconds of recovery. So that definitely felt nice. Ben said for both of them to start with medium weights for the first set and then go up to heavy weights the second set. I just used 20 pounds the whole time because medium for me with legs is usually 15 and 20. And I was like, I don't want to go above 20, but 15, I can definitely do 20. So it was nice. I might have been able to push up to 25, but I didn't really want to because tomorrow is this benchmark test. So I don't want to be sore for it. So I just stuck with 20 today, but I thought that it was an effective workout. So we did that. That took 9 minutes. Then we had 1 minute recovery and then we had 9 more minutes left in the class. So the second EMOM set that was structured exactly the same as the first were split squats, lateral lunges, and then squat jumps. For me, I just went up on my tippy toes like always. And yeah, we got through that. Really no complaints. These are all very basic movements that we've done, but I really like EMOM's, even though like pretty much all of his workouts are kind of structured like EMOM's. It was nice to be like true every minute on the minute. And I love deadlifts, so that was a good way to kick off the class. Enjoyability, I'd give it like an 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed today. I thought that it was an effective workout, moved by quickly, and really just showed how much stronger I am. At the beginning of the program, I gravitated towards 15 pounds more for legs, so it's nice to see that I could do it all at 20 and like feel really good and like start to think about pushing to 25. And then for difficulty, I would give it like a 7 out of 10. I didn't think it was super difficult because you did get like a decent amount of recovery depending on how fast you went. And we have been doing these moves for like a long time at this point, so it feels like nothing new, nothing super surprising or hard. We just kind of grinded through it. And then we had a 10-minute core strength class. The description is, who doesn't love a cracking core class? Not sure what that means. With the added benefit of it being your final of the program, don't forget to apply the principles of strength training Ben has taught you so far. Make every rep count. And I did not love this class. I just think all of Ben's core classes are kind of meh. I did feel pretty good during it because I've been doing the Rebecca Kennedy core program along with this program. So like my core is in kind of tip-top shape right now, but we did one set that we just repeated 3 times. 30 seconds each move and like no recovery. I think we got 15 seconds in between each set, which I've gone on this rant so many times at this point, but it is not my favorite when the instructors don't give you ample recovery, because then I take it myself and I cannot be trusted to give myself an appropriate amount of recovery. Everything was body weight. We started with a 1-minute warm up, and then the set was a flutter kick, Russian twist, hollow body hold, scissor kick, which kind of today I learned that scissor kicks and flutter kicks are different. They're very similar to me. I guess scissor kicks are like more dramatic, like kicking, while flutter is like you kick smaller. I'm not sure. And then high plank and finishing with a twisting mountain climber. Repeated that 3 times and the class was over. Enjoyability, I'd give it like a 5.5 out of 10. I really don't like when the instructors don't give you recovery. And then I feel like these core moves are kind of boring. Like it was just a very typical core class. And then difficulty, if you're taking no breaks, I'd give it like an 8.5 out of 10 difficulty. If you're taking breaks like me, maybe a 6 out of 10. But you know, we got through it and that's what counts. And then we finished off with a 5-minute lower body stretch, which no complaints there. I honestly wish that we did a full body stretch on these days as well, just because I'd like to stretch my core out some more. But it's okay. We did the 5-minute lower body stretch. We got in there, stretched out the legs, and then I just did some like child's pose and some rotations to stretch out my core a little bit after the core class. But today was a good day and I'm very, very excited for tomorrow. I don't think I'll be sore at all, and I'm ready to go at this benchmark test. It is now Friday and we did it. I finished the Ben's Stronger You program and I'm kind of riding a high right now. It does feel very good to know that I committed to it for 4 weeks and finished it. And I had my benchmark test this morning and spoiler, it went well. So I'm feeling pretty proud of myself for sticking to this program and like seeing results at the end. It really is cool because I don't do a lot of like strength tests to see that I'm actually getting better. So definitely a cool thing to see that like, yes, I am stronger than I was 4 weeks ago. But the first class today was a 5-minute full body benchmark test warm up, very basic body weight warm up. We kind of did a little bit of everything, like did some body weight shoulder presses, some lunges, like just warm up the body. I was coming off a core class, so I was already like a little warm, but it felt nice to just kind of like relax for a second, warm up, get ready, get in the right mindset for a benchmark test to kill it. The description was, the next 5 minutes will fly by. The full body warm up is designed to elevate your heart rate, increase blood flow, and get your body primed and ready for your upcoming strength benchmark test. Let's go. So really no complaints there. And then we just went right on into the 20-minute benchmark test. The description is, this is it, the moment you've been working towards. It's time for your final benchmark test of the program. Let's measure the phenomenal strength gains you have made over the last 4 weeks. Let's measure the stronger you. Give it your all. And this class was an exact repeat of the original 20-minute benchmark test class, which is, what we want. So there was a quick 2-minute bodyweight warm-up, and then we had an upper body circuit, lower body circuit, and core circuit, where you got a minute on, 30 seconds off, just repeated constantly, like no extra break in between the circuits. Ben said to grab the same weights you did last time. So medium was 10 pounds for me, heavy was 20. I used medium for arms and heavy for legs, which is what I did last time. And the core was not weighted. So we started off with push-ups. I did 13 in both minutes in my original test. And this time I did 24 the first minute and 20 the second minute. And man, oh man, was that a push. My shoulders were burning, but it did feel really good. I didn't do any modifications during this test, just because I feel like that's the easiest way to measure it. So we saw a decent amount of improvement there, like over 50% improvement from my original test. Then we did shoulder presses, where the first time I did 18 and 15, and this time I did 23 and 24. So again, not quite 50%, but like 30 to 40% improvement, which again, no complaints, felt good. And I just feel like stronger during these tests as well. Then we had our lower body circuit, which was squats with our heavy weight, so 20 pounds. The first time I did this test, I got 15 and 13, and this time I got 18 and 16. So definitely like a little less improvement, which I attribute to a couple things. The first is that like I've always done a lot of like leg focused cardio, so like running and cycling. And even when I was preparing for my marathon, I was still doing like strength for runners classes, which did have leg work in it. So I feel like from a baseline, my legs are stronger than my arms, so it's like harder to see improvement. Also, my shoulders really hurt at this point because I had already done a core class where we did like planks and stuff. So my shoulders were sore from that. And then I had this whole arm section. So even just holding the weights up was like kind of hard, but I still saw an improvement. And then finally, I was a tad sore from yesterday's leg class. I think in a perfect world, I would have taken today as a rest day and did this benchmark test tomorrow, but I just don't have time this weekend, so I had to take it today. But I still saw improvement, so I'm like still very happy. Then afterwards, we did backwards lunges, and the first time I did it, I got 18 and 17. This time I got 23 and 22. So again, not as much improvement as when I was doing the arms, but still like improvement. Like I am getting stronger. Then we went to core, and I have been taking Rebecca Kennedy's Straight to the Core program. So I feel like I could not attribute all of this to Ben's program, but we did assisted V-ups, and I did 23 and 22 the first time, and this time I did 45 and 41. I was really flying through these V-ups because we do just non-assistant V-ups in the Straight to the Core program a lot. So like assisted V-ups, it's not even like I'm like using my arms for support, but it is just like easier. So I was whipping through these, but I would probably attribute that more to the Straight to the Core program than this program. And then we just finished off with 60-second forearm plank, and I could hold those completely the first time, and I could also hold them again the second time. And then the benchmark test was over, so I was definitely very proud of myself. Saw the biggest increase in core, but then I also am very happy with my increase in the arms, and honestly like the legs too. Like really I saw increase across the board, which was just like super awesome, fun and rewarding to see. For enjoyability, I'd give this class like a 9 out of 10. Like obviously it's very enjoyable to see that all the work that you've put in like actually has results, and I don't take a lot of strength tests, so I have never seen like such concrete results as this one. I really like taking a strength test, so maybe I need to like work that into my just normal workouts to see if I'm improving. And then for difficulty, I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. Like I was really going at it during this class. My heart rate was quite high, but obviously like you want to be working your hardest during the test. And then we just finished with a 10-minute full body stretch because what would this program be without Ben's amazing stretches? And the description is, welcome to your final class of the program. It's vital to stretch after exercise, so take this time to soothe your mind and body, reflect on the past 4 weeks, and recognize your progress. The stronger you is here, so keep going and keep growing. And yeah, I mean, it was a very basic 10-minute stretch, real no complaints there. We stretched everything out. It felt good to let my heart rate come down and just be like, wow, I did it. And I'm so proud of myself. And yeah, it was a very rewarding experience today. So overall, I really did enjoy this program. I think that at some points it felt repetitive, but I am proud of myself for sticking to it. I really liked that Ben put in stretches after everything because I am somebody that skips stretches, so it was nice that that was worked into the program. It definitely is a time commitment 4 times a week, especially in the 3rd and 4th week when you go up to 30-minute strength classes plus the stretches. So just keep that in mind. But I honestly think 4 days a week of strength is like the perfect amount for me. I had been doing a lot of 3-day split trainings and those are good too, but I feel like 4 days kind of pushes me and I think 5 days is like too much. 4 days is really nice on the weeks that I could actually do it. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, get the weekends off, get Wednesday off. I feel like it was a really nice balance to the week. And I also liked how Ben structured it, that it was like arms, full body, rest, legs, full body, rest. I just feel like good structure. I think that Ben probably could have mixed it up a little bit more and added some new moves, but I think that that's also Ben's personality and you kind of know what to expect with taking classes with him. And it also got results. So even though it wasn't like the most exciting and fun classes, I think that it was worth doing and like it was a good program, well structured. The music was really good. I do really appreciate Ben. And you know, it got results. I've said this a bunch of times, but obviously a very effective workout. I am going to Europe now that I've completed this program for like a month, so I'm gonna lose some of my strength gains. But I think that if I was going to start another strength program, or like what I would do if I was working out next week, is either go back to the hardcore calendar now that I have like a little more strength, or honestly check out some of the other longer strength programs like Andy Spear's Total Strength Program. I've had my eye on that one for a while, and I did kind of like having the same instructor for 4 weeks, like always knowing what to do, because even now picking strength classes is a weakness for me. Like I never know exactly what to pick. So I really like these programs that are a little bit longer and the instructor just like organizes everything for you. So overall, I give this program like an 8.5 out of 10. I do think it was very effective, not super fun, but like got the work done. And none of the classes were like super big misses. Like I didn't come out of any of the classes feeling bad. And I cannot say that about a lot of other programs I've taken. So I can always appreciate when, you know, it's just steady. Like you're never going to have a 10 out of 10 day, but you're also not going to have like a 5 out of 10 day. So I think Ben did a really good job and I'd love to see more programs like this in the future from him. I also think that you could just retake this program. Honestly, the only difference between like weeks 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 is weeks 1 and 2. The classes are a bit shorter, but like not a lot. You'll still get a good workout and you can always just go up in weight. So I think that the retakeability is very, very high for this program, which I appreciate. So maybe I'll take it again in the future. I feel like I would be open to it. So that is it for this video. Let me know your thoughts if you've taken this program. And if you have taken it, let me know your gains too. I'd be very curious. I feel like this program has a pretty like positive outlook online. A lot of the stuff that I see on like Reddit or Facebook is like people that are happy with their results. So it's a cool thing to see. And I know that Peloton mostly develops these for the Peloton guide, but I am glad that Peloton is investing more in their program. I think it is a really cool thing that they offer. And I have really been enjoying a lot of the programs that they've been coming out with. I'm hoping that they come out with some more for summer. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.